Is Anybody in Here? Podcast 2, recorded February 19th, 2018.
What's up?
Welcome back.
Hello.
Thanks for suffering through if you heard the first one and listening to our second podcast. I'm Bill,
This is Adam.
And I'm Kevin.
and welcome back.
Huh.
Yeah. What do you guys feel like shooting shit about today?
So, what is your absolute favorite hobby other than masturbation? That's off the table.
Well, I like to play golf. In these years of my life, used to like to surf a lot, but being in Alabama, there's no surf.
That's true.
Unless you're in Gulf Shores on the perfect day, maybe. But yeah, so I found myself getting into golf lately, more and more. Hobby-wise, drinking.
That's good, huh?
But not much time for that. Always working, but yeah.
All right.
What about you, sir?
Well, I love to ride a bicycle and draw a little bit, write a little bit. But I was never one for competitive sports. My parents made me play baseball, and I wasn't a team player. I got kicked off the field a lot for shooting birds at team members. And so, yeah, I wasn't really a good sportsman kid.
Why would you shoot fingers?
I don't know. It's like when you're young, you're exposed to one thing, and
People on your team or the other
yeah,
team?
people on my team. That was what's funny about it. But and when you're a kid, you're exposed to something, and you try it out, and then everybody tells you not to do it, so you just want to do it more. So I saw somebody shoot a bird, and I was like, "Oh, that looks cool. I'm gonna do that. That looks like the thing to do." And,
To the other team.
well, to my team, I don't know. I didn't understand anything at that point.
Yeah, you know what? You should play golf.
You gotta give me a break. I was 18 years old. Okay.
Kevin, what are your hobbies or interests? Or
I like playing golf and playing guitar, and that's about it.
yeah, I forgot. I like to dabble a little bit.
Yeah,
Guitar
dabble
too.
guitar.
I forgot to mention that.
And listen to a lot of podcasts.
Kevin does the nice little guitar work on our intro song.
And we're going to get Bill doing it next time with us, and we're going to try to get it.
No, I think it's perfected. Maybe we'll add to it or something
Yeah.
sometime.
All right, Kevin, were you ever a sports person?
Not really.
I should say team sports person, because there's a lot of different kind of sports.
I played baseball mainly because my dad coached it.
Did you flip off your own team?
I didn't flip off anybody.
I wouldn't guess that's a common thing.
But I played a little baseball. That's about it. When I was in high school, I was a little bit bigger than everybody else. And they always wanted to play football. And you know how it is when you're a kid, and folks want you to do something. Screw them.
Yeah, you just give them the middle finger. That's what I did.
I basically gave the middle finger. I said,
So you
"Nah."
never did play?
I never did
football?
play.
Oh, good.
Maybe because somebody always tried to talk me into it.
Yeah, and if you're a certain size, then like they're always, oh yeah, you have to play football.
Yeah, exactly. Because I was a lot. I matured faster, so I was probably a good foot taller than most of the folks in my grade, till maybe 7th or 8th grade.
Was that a weird thing, always being like taller than
Yeah.
the rest of your classmates?
It was sort of weird.
Yeah, so it's very stereotypical. You're either going to play football or basketball if you're tall.
Right.
But that's interesting. Nobody ever suggested that I should be a jockey because I'm pretty short.
You know what? You'd probably be a good jockey, except
Yeah.
you'd have to beat the horse.
I wouldn't care for that.
You don't come in
would
last
just-
every time.
I would just
he
get-
won't hit the horse.
I would get off the horse and we'd walk across the finish line an hour after the race.
You'd probably flip the horse off.
I could see that.
Fuck you, horse.
So, like, what constitutes a sport? What's considered a sport?
That's a big debate sometimes because you get cheerleaders that argue with it. Cheerleading is a sport. Is cheerleading a sport? Does it have to be where points are counted, like team versus team? Points counted where it'd be like tournament style. You have to score the most. Is beer pong a sport? Like, do you go that far? Like, you're doing something with the little ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's physical activity in a way.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not accumulating points against another person, in my opinion, I wouldn't call cheerleading. It's not athletic, but it's not a sport until you're.
Because there's no points involved.
Yeah, there's no points involved. There's no competition. I mean,
but there are cheer competitions.
yeah, if you're a cheer competition, it's a sport. So I guess you could say it's a sport.
It's a part-time sport because if you're at the ball game,
yeah, that doesn't
cheering,
count as a
you're
sport.
not getting any points. You're not, the score's not 50-something because the cheerleaders added on points to the game.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how about this? If you're rock climbing, which I would consider a sport, you don't
I'd call it a
have a competitor. You're not getting points against someone else.
Was that a
Competing
hobby?
against nature, I think.
Well,
And
that's a good question.
there's rock climbing competitions.
Yeah, it's a sport competition. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not if that's the case.
What if it's situational? Because if I'm riding a bicycle in a competition, I'm racing against fellow athletes. That's a competition. That's a sport. But if I'm just biking to work, that's a commute.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So things are part-time sports. Sports can turn into life.
so where did the word sport come from?
That I do not know.
Kevin?
Did you?
It originated from
Oh,
a
look
French
at this.
word called
You're so smart.
desport. I did my research, motherfucker.
2 points for Adam. My research.
Yeah, this is a competition, damn
I
it.
meant to, but I played golf instead.
It was a French word for desport. But it's D-I.
Sport.
This
Yeah.
sport.
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's
This
French.
sport.
Do you
Anyway.
play this sport?
This sport.
But it was...
La bibliothèque.
I don't think that's French.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Okay.
I mean, it's library. That's only a few French words.
You're just speaking English with an accent.
Yeah.
Like Pepe Le Pew.
What was that? Pepperoni.
Pepperoni's French.
Yeah, that's French. yeah, that's French.
You say it French? It's gotta be French.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true.
America.
So,
day sport.
yeah,
sport.
it originated as military training. So you do things like fencing or fighting, anything that would improve your combat skills. And then later, whether you have less and less combat or there's not a need for it anymore, you still have the military recreation. So that's where sports originated. So started as a military training. Okay. And then became more and more recreational.
Okay, I didn't know that.
So I'm very curious. Like, that's where it started from. So
What kind of sports? Just in general?
well, fencing. I
fencing,
know I
okay.
read about, but I'm sure it included a lot of other very common sports.
Fencing's a rich person sport, right?
Yeah.
There's no poor people fencing.
Yeah. Like, at what point, like, with that same line of trajectory, are we just going to shoot each other for fun? For a sport? Well, some people might argue that we already do
We're
that.
probably not that far away from it. It could be a new reality show hosted
Yeah.
by a president. Who knows?
Yeah. That'll be a second gig.
We're going to turn loss of life into a positive.
So what's the craziest sport, Bill, that you've ever heard of?
All right, craziest. There's a lot of them out there. A few minutes I did look around. You've got extreme ironboarding,
Oh, man, that's the one I pulled up.
which, look, I couldn't even continue researching because it sounded so,
You mean ironing?
yeah, extreme ironing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you do it on like a board of some sort.
Okay.
Whether it be like rock climbing, being pulled behind a boat while you're wakeboarding or skiing. At the same time, you have an ironing board next to you and you have to like iron a shirt. pretty stupid. I didn't keep following because I was like, okay, well, you could just do anything and call that extreme irony.
Exactly. I mean, they suggested to start with extreme ironing. Your best start is to start doing it in trees.
In trees, so
Yes.
climb up a tree.
Climb up a tree and start ironing.
Who started this? Florence from the Brady Bunch? Like, who started extreme ironing?
But also another thing, the picture I saw when I pulled it up, somebody was
Sounds like you're reading the Sunday paper.
well, I've got some
Kevin has a stack of printed out
I do my
papers in front of
research,
him.
biatch.
Nice.
So I thought I had my
It's like you got a whole tree right there.
extreme ironing.
Yeah, extreme.
So they said some folks do it nude. I don't know how that would be competitive.
How is that much more extreme?
That's true. But I saw a picture of some dude skiing. I don't know if he was skiing. I don't know what he was standing on, but he was behind a boat being pulled, and he was ironing.
Yeah, so like, I think he was on a wakeboard or
Yeah.
something, and then the iron, he was holding it next to him on another wakeboard.
Okay,
Exactly.
I will not discredit that as a sport because the logistics involved with getting a hot iron that's
Yeah.
electrical,
It's got to be hot. It still has
and,
That's a good
and
point,
then
it's still
you're
hot.
above water, you're in water, splashing around in water.
They do underwater ironing too.
That is jacked up.
Yeah. I don't know
Speaking
how
of
that
underwater,
works.
they got underwater hockey. I pulled that one.
Underwater
What?
hockey.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to play above water hockey. I guess that'd be more fun though. It wouldn't hurt as much
Well-
when you get checked.
Maybe it was just regular hockey, and they were so enthusiastic about it they didn't realize summer came and all the
They
ice
just melted.
melted. Yeah.
They ended up in a pool.
Let's keep
so-
playing. All right.
Bring out the scuba gear.
That's it.
The other one, the only other one that I looked up, what was it? Ferret?
Ferret legging.
Ferret
Legging, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything about that one.
Yeah, they apparently, I guess they do it in Scotland. I don't know if they do it anywhere else. I'm sorry if I'm leaving out other countries. But what I looked up and saw, they maybe it is some sort of like festival or something. There's already people there. Same way you might have a water spitting, watermelon seed spitting contest here in the summertime,
Right.
4th of July.
I don't know what a watermelon seed spitting contest is.
Really?
Yeah, I've never
Like,
heard of
people
that.
will like eat watermelons and then spit the seeds. They'll like see how far they can spit the seeds.
Oh, it's not like an amount. It's like how far you can spit.
Oh,
a
I'm
seed.
sure they have like how much watermelon can somebody eat. We're America. We're going to waste a lot. So.
Yeah, land of excess.
But yeah, so it's basically, I guess, something like that. And what I saw, they have 3 people. They're standing on like big tree stumps, and they have like maybe some loose fitting sweatpants or something where they can fit a ferret down in there. And you're not allowed to wear underwear. And so what they do at the same time, they bring out the ferrets. I think the ferrets are treated okay because they're named and everything.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been around a ferret, but there's no way in hell I'd want to put one down my pants. I didn't want to hold them.
Aren't they sort of like a mink or
Yeah, they're like
squirrel
little,
or-
they're like a flat cat kind of.
Oh, what's
Okay.
things I always see them on cartoons? Meerkats. Like they stand on their hind legs.
Yeah, I guess kind of like that. They can kill snakes and stuff. Like,
Well, I wouldn't want to put one in my pants. So, I didn't want any like mistaking identity here.
I think they leave snails alone.
Wow.
So what they'll do at the same time, they'll feed the parents, feed the
Feed the
ferret-
parents?
feed the parents down into the pants. So they feed the ferrets down into the pants.
I put my parents in my pants.
And so they have the ankles drawn up so they can't escape down through the bottom and they can't come back up through the top. And whoever can withstand the ferret in their pants the longest wins the competition. And you've got this Scottish DJ guy speaking the whole time. It's pretty funny. And you're not allowed to drink or be on drugs for it. Like you got to do it totally sober. But then afterwards you get real fucked up.
yeah.
How humane do you think that is for the ferret?
That was what I was kind of worried about when I looked it up. But like I said, it seemed like they weren't hurting the ferrets.
Yeah.
Now, those guys that were doing it, I'm sure they had some really smelly. They probably stunk down there, and so like you're enclosed in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, ferrets. I
Yeah.
don't think they care too much about personal hygiene.
That's a good
Yeah,
That'd be
point.
the worst part of it.
Yeah,
but,
because like they're not kicking the ferrets. It sounds like, and like
No,
ferrets
they
go
were.
down in holes in the ground.
Well, most animals like stuff that stinks. At least I'm speaking for my dogs. So I would expect that being cleaner in certain areas of your body might protect you. Better.
oh, especially with no underwear.
Exactly.
You're getting full contact with ferrets.
So like bathe.
What happens if someone got aroused by that?
Snake.
There's people out there, I'm sure, that would be aroused by
I think they go home until finish that first.
You can't take the ferret with you, sir.
But sir, I paid my competition fee.
He wins all the competitions. I don't get it. Yeah, that was the weirdest one that I saw. I mean, besides like bed racing down the hill, that's just
Yeah, I looked at
wheels
that
on the
one.
bed.
It didn't it didn't sound too impressive. The only thing I found interesting about it was they said the last part of the track you actually have to go over water, so it has to float on water.
Your bed's got to float on
Yeah,
water.
I don't know if you have to swim with it or what, but that's the only interesting thing I saw about that. But
Wow.
anyway, well, I mean, if y'all are familiar with mullet tossing, right?
No.
You're not.
That they do at the old Floribama.
Floribama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They toss mullets.
You know what a mullet is?
Throw it in it's a fish.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like a person's like hair,
Yeah, well, there's
like
plenty
Billy
of
Ray
those.
Cyrus.
Yeah, Billy Ray
If you go to
Cyrus.
the mullet toss, you're going to see some mullets.
There's a lot of mullets at the mullet toss. Those type mullets.
Yeah, yeah, they do that. In Seattle, they throw fish at the market.
It is.
Yeah, I've never been there, but you always see it on TV.
Yeah.
The fish market there. Like they'll take like the big salmon and stuff, and they toss it like across. Like, and
Oh
they
yeah,
do,
I'm
like,
sure
a
they
little
do that
show
in
it.
New York as well. Like all like port cities, where
I'm guessing there's less mullets there in Seattle than for that toss.
hair mullets.
Hair
I'm
mullets.
getting confused.
They have a lot of hair mullets in Seattle, really.
What they do, they put little mullets on these fish, and they throw them. Yeah, the little mullet. That'll probably be coming up. Is that in the summertime, or does that come up pretty soon?
I don't know. It's once a year, it seems like in the summer.
I think they do it before summer really kicks off, right? Like maybe around the spring break time or something. But yeah, I don't plan on going to it. Never say never, but I don't plan on it.
Well,
You got any weird sports to talk about?
yeah.
Adam?
Hot dog eating contest.
Okay. That's very interesting.
Joey, what's his name?
Joey Bag of Donuts.
Joey, is that?
I don't know.
He used to win all like the wing competitions, and he's like a famous food competitor eater. And,
Ah.
like he wins all the time. I can't remember his last name. Joey something.
I read
Yeah.
somewhere that the skinny guys are the ones that do best at that because they have more room in their cavity.
Well, I was just gonna say I was always so surprised to see that it was skinny guys winning.
Yeah, and a lot of little Asian women have won too.
Women? Oh, so it's men.
Yeah, they have women that
Okay.
compete at it too. Our friend Marilyn, who's like really skinny.
Is she a hot
I
dog
was telling
eater?
her she she
Well,
might have
never
eaten a
mind.
few hot dogs. I don't know.
Yeah.
That was crazy. But
We love Marilyn, but anyway.
but she could put food away. I mean, she
She
weighs
could.
like not even 100 pounds. I don't think.
Yeah.
And if you don't take the food away from her, she'll just keep on
She
eating.
probably could be a hot dog eater.
Yeah, so like just the fact that they're dipping the buns in water,
Yeah, that sounds sort of like cheating to me. I
like
don't know.
it had to evolve. Like they were eating a regular hot dog,
Yeah,
probably with ketchup and mustard or whatever you like on it,
yeah.
and then I don't know, like who's sitting around a barbecue saying, like not how many I can eat, but I'm gonna eat 100 of these. Like there's a difference between I'm gonna see if I can eat 5. And, like, how many do they eat? I don't know.
I'm not sure. Okay, so I think the record is 72 hot dogs.
72 hot dogs in one sitting.
Yeah,
That's not
Joey
like...
Chestnut. That's his name. Yeah, he's actually. I don't know if he's still on it. We got eliminated. Amazing Race. I got to see like the first episode or two, and it's kind of like a semi-celebrity
Yeah.
edition of it. None of them are like super famous, but they have a couple of ex-NBA players and stuff. And him and another food competitive eating guy who's on there, Joey Chestnuts. He wins a lot of them. So he holds the record, Coney Island record of 72 hot dogs.
That's pretty good.
Maybe they all watched Cool Hand Luke at some point. Maybe that started off competitive food eating. Have you ever seen Cool Hand Luke?
No.
Great Paul Newman movie.
It's been a while since I've seen it. I just
Wait,
remember
Paul
the,
Newman? Like the salsa?
The wine
I know he was
salsa
an
guy.
actor before.
I had heard
you
that.
just know him from the sauces.
You've
and
never
stuff?
seen a Paul Newman movie?
Maybe. Was he like in ties with Robert Redford?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did Butch Cassidy.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
Oh,
Kid.
so that's like Sundance Festival.
That's Sting. They
that's
did
not
that.
related.
No, Sundance
No, he
Festival.
does the same. But I mean, I was talking about
Robert
Butch
Redford
Cassidy.
started this Sundance Festival.
I guess that might be
Yes.
where I got the name. I never
Yeah,
thought
I'm
of
pretty
it.
sure it is.
Yeah.
We're not experts, but I'm going to guess.
No, like I should probably be a competitive food eater because that's my entire knowledge of popular culture is if it's on a food product, that's how I know about it.
How do other countries have to look at us when we're having competitive food competitions? 72 hot dogs on the average. You could feed a lot of people 72 hot dogs. Just say everybody's getting 2 hot dogs apiece. I'm not good at math, but that's a lot of people that
That
could
is.
eat. And that's just one person. Somebody coming in second place, they've got to be at, 60? So hundreds of hot dogs are being eaten in these contests for one sitting. God, people must hate us.
I don't know. Like it could go either way. They could say, "Wow, what an excessive country," or "Man, they really have their manufacturing down if they can produce that many hot dogs."
True.
But yeah, we're a country of excess. Like our energy consumption, food, everything, gasoline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
So what other, you got any other weird sports?
Well, I was curious if you know of any sports that started in a book or a movie that people do in real life, because that's
There is.
popular.
Harry Potter, I think.
The
they have.
Quidditch.
Yeah.
game?
I think I saw on TV, like, they actually started having leagues. And I've never watched Harry Potter. But I saw, like, the news piece or whatever. And, like, it looked something similar to, like, lacrosse and field hockey or something.
Yeah, so
Maybe.
like in the book or the movies, they're flying on brooms.
yeah.
I think they run with brooms.
I don't know how. Yeah, I was
I think
curious
they
how
do.
it would transfer.
Yeah, I
you
think they have to
mentioned-
run around with brooms, if I remember right. We can look it up later. But
We'll put that. There is a movie. I'm trying to remember what it was that are derived from a movie. But,
a movie that
like,
derived from a movie?
a sport
Oh, a
that
sport.
derived from a
Yeah.
movie. Yeah. But I think I was on the tip of my tongue. I have to look it up.
Is it not in your stack of notes there?
No, but speaking of my stack of notes, before I change off this webpage on my phone, cheese rolling I thought was a pretty interesting sport.
What is cheese rolling?
Where you get like you know how the big, you
Yeah,
know,
like
the
it's
wheel
the
of cheese.
size
the wheel
of a
of
tire.
cheese,
Yeah.
size of a tire.
Is this in Switzerland?
It was somewhere with a lot of hills. And what I thought was funny, here was the sign. It said, "Warning: Cooper's Hill Cheese Roll. Cheese rolling is a dangerous activity for both participants and spectators. Cheese roll is not managed. You are strongly advised not to attend." So, this is the sign.
Can you imagine walking along and getting smacked by a big old...
I'm looking
wheel
at
of
this
cheese?
sign. It looks really official. It's not
Yeah.
just like a printed out.
Yeah, and this is especially unsuitable for children. You
Yeah, what's
attend
dangerous about
avalanche.
rolling it?
You may attend
The
entire.
hill is more than 45-degree angle.
So you got to
Oh,
climb up
God.
with your cheese.
Yeah, you got to climb to the top of your cheese. And you're like,
You're basically
Okay.
throwing a wheel of cheese off a building.
And-
I think I saw this on
falling
Amazing
down
Race
after it.
before, too. You have to cart it up.
I don't know about
Carry.
carting it up. I skipped that part. Let's see.
Well, they're like, they had to get it up to the top, and a lot of them kept dropping it, and it would roll all the way back down. And so
Maybe
they'd have
that
to
was
go-
it.
They'd have to
Okay.
go pick it back up and then try to get up to
So-
the top of the hill again.
I assumed you went to the bottom, but maybe you have to go to the top, then come down.
Well, you have to go up to the top to roll it. What,
Yeah,
you roll it
yeah.
uphill?
Well, it's like
Even-
a ski lift. You got a cheese lift. You know, you do a little cheese, you sit there, you ride it to the top.
Put
That'd be
your-
like PGA tournaments. They just start riding around in the carts. They're not walking anymore. They're like, nah, fuck it.
Then,
Put your cheese in your lap and ride the gondola, sir.
So do they have like a big cheese, like party after the competition, like where they eat the cheese.
And there's months of constipation that follows.
Yeah. People selling toilet paper don't really make that much money.
That's true because of the toilet paper sales.
Oh, I can think of one.
Charmin's not a sponsor, huh?
No, I said, never mind.
X-Lax maybe, not Charmin.
That'd be a great
Yeah.
X-Lax cheese rolling competition.
X-Lax
Coming to
cheese.
you live from Fox Sports.
Oh, speaking of like covering sports, ESPN. You know, how did they become such a powerhouse? Sports is so much a part of our culture now, but I'm guessing it wasn't always televised.
No.
I've only grown up with, several options of ESPN channels. It had to start with one, right?
Yeah, I think ESPN started it. I think basically like the CNN, kind of like the round-the-clock news thing. I think the people who created ESPN were like, okay, why don't we do that for the sports page, basically?
Yeah.
And yeah, that definitely changed it. Only you'd have a 10-minute segment on your nightly news for sports.
Yeah.
And then I think you had like a couple other, like you'd have like a Sunday night sports machine where they'd like go over like the week's highlights. But no, they just started filming everything and getting the film from every game, every sport. And basically having they turned like a whole newscast into nothing but sports. And they just looped that. That was a great invention. I mean, they've done well. They're kind of in a decline now, but it's spread out. Like you said, not just ESPN's doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody's got their around-the-clock kind of like sports.
Yeah, because weather or you're talking about specifically with sports.
Well, just, like they cover everything. You see, back to is cheerleading a sport. ESPN had so many channels, they had to have something to, even back when it was just ESPN and ESPN2, they would put cheerleading competition on sometime in the middle of the day, and you're like, oh. But somebody's sitting in a bar at 2 o'clock in the afternoon somewhere, and that's what they're looking up at, eating their beer nuts and drinking beer.
Yeah.
I wonder if ESPN was ever concerned if they would be able to maintain content. Like if they just started putting kind of like what we're talking about, wacky, kind of out there sports.
Well, what amazes me about them is they actually show reruns of football games.
Oh, yeah.
That blows my mind. I mean, I'm not a big sports fan, but to sit here and watch a 1976 football game.
My parents will sit there and watch it.
Blows my mind.
SEC Network will replay old Auburn games. Like, they'll replay whatever games, but my parents will be interested in Auburn once they're big Auburn fans.
Blows my
They
mind.
will watch an old game over.
'Cause I usually don't watch a new game, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is interesting because it's not quite old enough to be on the History Channel, but people are watching it, and it's recent history. So that's I wonder if that's a change in our culture because you have on Facebook where this is what happened to you or this is a photo you took 5 years ago. Did they do that on Facebook? I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of app you can.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not on Facebook.
It's called Time Hop.
Oh.
But you're going to be one day.
Okay,
Yeah.
Bill has suggested that because we started the first podcast with my meditation retreat, that Kevin and Bill are going to throw me into different situations that are very uncomfortable for me and review them on the next podcast and see how I did. And Bill wants me to have a Facebook account, at least for 1 week.
Yeah, I think 1 week of a Facebook account. And
That'd be nice.
we'll see how it goes.
I'd like to see you go to a drag show with some people I
Yes.
know.
I would definitely be up to go into a
But I'd
drag
like to
show.
go.
Because that's pure entertainment,
Yeah, exactly.
and like I love
It is.
people, and I've never been to a drag show, and I think it's pretty nuts.
Well, it'd be more fun to take somebody who would feel uncomfortable.
That's what you want to do. I think a lot of people, if they ever go to their first drag shows, will be a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I went in Delaware. There's a big gay population in Delaware, so of course you're going to have some drag shows going on. And we went. I can't remember the name of the place. Popular place, but on like Mondays or something like that, they would do like drag show nights. And I went, and I was like, oh, this is going to be horrible. I'm getting dragged to this. I really don't feel like going. And it was pretty entertaining. You know, they're good entertainers. I mean, I guess everyone could be different. But what I was surprised by, especially, I mean, I don't know if they do it now with like the big harassment movement that's going on. A lot of those entertainers, the what do you call them? Drag
queens.
Drag queens. They would walk out in the crowd, and it's a lot of girls there. There's a lot of girls at the drag shows. They love it. They'd grab their boobs and stuff, and they're just laughing. Even though it's a guy like grabbing their boobs, it's okay. The drag queen's doing it. Now I don't know if they can still do that at the shows, but the one I went to, that was going on, and like people were just laughing, and I'm like, well, they just really don't care. That's great.
Yeah, but I mean, that's not like your everyday work environment. Like you're at a drag show. You know, the same way I would go to see a horror film at the movie theater. I'm not going to go and be surprised that I'm terrified. You know,
would you go watch scary movies at a theater?
No, I really don't like scary movies.
This is why we want to do a week of Facebook with Adam, because he gets uncomfortable with not like everyday things, but just little different things he gets uncomfortable with.
Yeah,
So,
there's
yes.
I would say it's not they might be common, I don't know, but there's just a handful of things where I just say no to. I don't need that in my life. I don't think it's going to make me grow. Like watching a scary movie. I can go watch 10 like happy movies and be fine. I don't need to go watch a movie that's going to scare the crap out of me.
What's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Oh God. The Conjuring, I think it was like the second one.
I just
And,
watched that. I just recently.
It-
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I covered my eyes like half the movie. I don't even remember what it was.
It's got the dude from Office Space in there.
The main guy?
The main guy
hypnotized?
who's hypnotized.
Conjuring, huh? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't think I've seen it.
He's a completely different character.
I still think the scariest for me is The Exorcist.
Yeah, The Exorcist was definitely one of them.
You've never seen The Exorcist?
Well, I have seen The Exorcist. Part of it, not all of it. But when I watch a movie, I so fully engross myself in the reality, that fake reality of the movie, that it feels immensely real. So it's torture for me to watch a terrible, like, scary movie. Especially if it's well done, because I'm totally thrown into that environment where, like, the illogical played out scene of like, oh, don't go in there, and everybody's yelling at the screen. I don't think like that. I think like the character that's about to go into the room and get killed. Because
or
I
the
want
character that's running away and falls 5 times running.
right. Like I want to enjoy myself, and because of that, I kind of like check any intelligence I have at the door. I just want to be entertained. So when I watch a movie, I just watch it. I don't try to like pick apart like, oh, how'd they make this? Or I think it's a reality when I'm watching it. And when it's over, I know.
Well, what do you think the scariest sport would be? We were talking about weird, but what do you think probably, like, if, okay, you've got to do this real scary sport, what would you want it to not be? Like, okay, skydiving or...
Yeah, I would say a lot of people would consider skydiving, and I actually worked as a parachute packer in the skydiving world for like 6 summers. So they would
So
jump.
would you pack all summer?
Very funny, Bill. The parachutes would open. I'd inspect them and put them back together. But I never jumped by myself in 6 years. So, yeah, hands down, that'd be on my list.
But you did jump, though, right?
Well, with someone attached to me and very affordable.
You have to do that, though, your first jump, don't you? Doesn't somebody have to be attached to you?
The rules differ from state to state, but most places you have to do what's called a tandem jump, and you're on the front of somebody, just like a little, like, baby
I would
backpack.
never get to the solo jump, because if I ever did, it would be just to get it done, and I don't think I'd have to do it again. Never say never, but I think the one-time thing of surviving would do it for me. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I did it, great. Thank God.
And to do it as a sport, you have to really dive into it because there's hours and hours of training. You're not just jumping once and then you're a pro. Like you have to jump multiple times a day. It's expensive. You have to know the equipment. You have to know yourself very well. And you have to like get over the hurdle of fear. So one of the craziest sports within the world of skydiving, like my limited knowledge, I would say like 4-way teams. They jump out of a plane and they're all holding on to each other. They let go and they turn their bodies in the air while falling to the ground and then reattach to each other in different ways. So if I'm grabbing your arm, we let go, I turn 90 degrees, I'll grab your leg. That's 1 point. And there's competitions like every year where like you turn 16 points before you open your parachute.
Jesus.
And because of the competition, people are very serious about it. They will open their parachutes lower and lower to the ground just to get that extra point to beat the competition. So, yeah, it's really scary. There might be some kind of disqualification if you open too low. Your team's disqualified. It's probably a good idea for a safety feature if they don't have that.
Okay. Well, that was interesting.
So skydiving, I don't know what would be scarier, jumping out of a plane, or like in the Olympics where they have these downhill ski long jumps. If you told me I had to do one or the other, I'm shitting myself either way.
Yeah.
I don't know which one I would do. Like, I think I might rather jump out of a plane.
Yeah, because you at least have a parachute.
Like, I know I'm going to break my legs on that ski jump. I know there's no way I'm landing that.
That's true.
So at least skydiving, maybe I might stick the land where I might just sprain an ankle, maybe, unless the chute doesn't open. Then you're fine.
Yeah.
Well, you got 2 parachutes, and you can slow the parachute down. If you're going off a 90-meter ski jump, it's gravity. You're fucked.
So we'd all jump out of a plane.
I absolutely would. Yeah, Kevin, what about you?
I think so.
Yeah. And I guess originally I would think, I would do the ski jump, but there's no way. It's too scary.
No, I was thinking, I never thought about it until they started explaining it, but a lot of people die just skiing because you're going so fast down the hill.
Sonny Bono.
If you lose control, you hit a tree doing 40 miles per hour.
Adam, you know who Sonny Bono was, right?
Yep.
Yeah. He died.
Yeah, he had a tree skiing.
Yeah, that's what I didn't realize how bad it was, but that sounds sort of scary.
Yeah.
Especially don't know what the heck you're doing. You're going too fast, and next thing you know, you're headed straight for a tree.
Yeah, if you start going through the trails in the woods, you need to really be careful because you can smack a tree and you're done.
I almost died snowboarding.
Same principle, I guess.
Yeah, I hit a tree with my back.
Oh.
And I was just lower than a part on the tree that had a broken branch. And my friends came up to me after they saw I hit a tree, and they didn't know any better. They just saw me laying on the ground and saw the jagged part of the tree, and some bark was missing under it. And they thought I had been impaled. So, they're thinking I'm about to die. And so was I, because I was out of breath, and I didn't know what had happened.
You didn't get the ride of shame down, did you?
No, on the little... No, I got to ride down myself. I would have rather been on the stretcher, though. That's how bad I felt.
It's embarrassing. You never want that.
Well, I had forgot about this event completely until my meditation retreat.
Really?
No joke. I remembered it.
You just shoved that down deep. It scared you so much and just forgot? Or?
Yeah, because it's not just like a scary movie. Like, I thought I was about to die, and my friends who were checking on me were confirming it, saying, don't die.
Oh, wow.
So I, totally forgot about that.
So were you knocked out or something?
I don't know. It's possible because it took them a while to take off their snowboards and come back up the hill to me. But, the girl I was dating at the time, it was her birthday. And,
Way to fuck up her birthday.
Yeah, I know, right? I remember her like crouching down and taking my goggles off and telling me not to die.
Don't die, Adam. Damn it, don't die.
She wasn't like that. Yeah, she was much more hardcore than that.
It's my birthday, Dick. Don't die.
Yeah, it was more like that.
You're going to ruin my day. Yeah, I got carted down on one of those stretchers.
Oh, wow.
Blue Mountain, up in the Poconos. Me and my friend Brian, it was nighttime skiing.
Damn.
We'd gone up, and it's
dangerous.
ice. Well, a lot of the mountains up there have that. So it's like 2 hours north of Philadelphia, and it just gets icy there. And we were going down a steep part of the course, and we're going around this curve. We're racing down to the bottom, and there's a little kid, not a little kid, he was a teenager, sitting right in the middle. And as you come around that curve, and you're on ice on a snowboard, there's no automatic stopping. Like, it takes you a second to get stopped. And as soon as I got turned, trying to slow down, boom, hit him, roll over, screwed my
You
ankle
hit
all
the
up.
kid?
Yeah, but he was fine. I was the one that ended up getting hurt.
Ah, man, if you would have just told me that, I would have thought the kid would have got hurt.
No, I was the one that ended up getting hurt out of it. Because the way I fell, I saw what was happening. I was trying to protect him from getting hurt, and I ended up hurting myself in the midst of doing that.
You know what would have protected that kid even more? Better parenting.
Yeah. Or somebody to tell him, you don't just sit in the middle of a slope like that.
At night!
Yeah. Yeah, so I saw he was okay and went to go pick myself up, and I couldn't even stand on my ankle. And so it was, oh, great. And I tried to get back in the board and, like, move, but I couldn't even put any weight on it. It was so bad. So my friend had to track down one of the mountain people and then sit there and wait. Then they come with the little gurney, the snow gurney, whatever. Strap you in it. They cover you up like a mummy. And then you start the ride down. And when you really feel like an asshole is when you're going underneath the lifts. And everybody's looking down at you. And all you can do is look back up at them like, yep, I'm the asshole. They're carting down the mountain. It's a little embarrassing.
I would have closed my eyes and acted like I was dead. I'm going to give these people a show.
I know, stick your tongue out across your eyes.
Yeah.
Like a cartoon.
That should have been like scream. They're kidnapping me! I don't want to go! I was in so much pain though. Yeah, that sucked. But yeah, I ended up, because we'd gotten a hotel room, and so Brian's wife and his brother, they were with us, and we had another day to ski, and so I ended up just basically drinking beer in the hotel room. I used something as a cane to get around. I didn't leave the hotel room that day. I was like, you guys just go.
Yeah.
You know, we're up here, and I'll get the doctor when we get back. But yeah, didn't leave the hotel room, just drank beer and limped around a stupid room with a fucked up ankle.
Oh, shoot.
Couldn't even work for like over a week.
So if that's how bad you felt as just a person on vacation that was snowboarding, or were you skiing?
Snowboarding.
Yeah, just you think about a professional snowboarder.
Oh.
If they get hurt,
The
That's-
jumps they do, like how high they get, and they have some bad falls.
yeah, I mean that's got to be devastating. That's like a soldier that has gone through training, and then now the war's over. Like how do you go about your life, because you've spent professional athletes spend all of their life, all of their waking hours training.
And in fairness, though, they do have those big. They can train for it without getting hurt, so they get to actually attempt these jumps into like the little soft pits or whatever. Yeah. So they at least get to practice some of the stuff, like the aerial maneuvers. But yeah, dangerous. I wouldn't want to do it.
Yeah, I saw some woman. I think she's a,
Half pipe or this high.
whatever you call it.
The jump.
The hash
The
pipe.
jump. The jump. Anyway, she was talking about how many bones she's broken.
The ski jump?
Yeah, the ski jump. She's a ski jumper. No, she wasn't a ski jumper. She's she goes down the hill between the flags. What do you call that?
Slalom.
Slalom.
Yeah, and she's just talking about all the bones she's broken.
Yeah, they're going fast.
And she's like 30 years old, which is old age.
Is that Lindsey Vonn?
Might have been. They're interviewing her, and it was amazing. She said they're talking about these injuries she's had. She says everything's been broken she's ever had, and she's 30 years old.
Yeah,
and they're still
apparently
busting.
she didn't place for a medal this time, and I guess a lot of people were like happy because like she came out against Trump, and was like, I'm playing for the country, I'm not playing for him, and that offended some Trumpers.
Yeah, I think that's kind of silly. Like, athletics is, in my opinion, totally separate from politics.
Not these days.
Well, I mean, even North Korea and South Korea, I heard they came out as one Korea in the Olympics. They marched out. I think
Which that's what the Olympics. I'm not a big fan of the Olympics, but what they're supposed to stand for is unity around the world, to bring countries together, and that's good. That's what it's about. If they're going to do that, like obviously there's been tension between North Korea and pretty much the rest of the world almost. But if the Olympics can bring some sort of normalcy between them, that's great. And I think that people should be happy about that. Some of the people in charge right now didn't act that way, but,
But the Olympics kind of has a history of doing that because there were, enormous racial tensions, and the Olympics kind of not erased any of that, but kind of shed light on a lot of it in a way that individual journalists could only dream of bringing that subject to light.
Well, that's my favorite part of the Olympics is when it's over.
And then they leave the city they're in, and it just goes to ruin. Like, if the Olympics ever tells me personally, like, I'm coming to your town, which they would never do, it's not big enough.
It's like a rock band with a hotel room.
I'd be devastated because every place they've gone to and then left, as far as my knowledge, it's terrible.
Well,
afterwards.
I think places that have hosted it that had no business hosting it, like Sochi, there shouldn't have been Olympics there. Like, apparently everything was just horrible shape. They built things. Now it's like a ghost town.
Right.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And that's such a common
Brazil,
story.
same way.
Rio.
Atlanta, I don't think that happened. I mean, I think
It's
Atlanta
a big
did a
enough
good
city.
job hosting it.
But they can utilize the buildings afterwards.
Yeah, you had Turner Field that was built for the Braves and the Olympics. And
they
they
got
had to
what?
modify it right after the Olympics were over to get it
They
right
got a
for
good,
baseball.
5 years out of it at least.
But for the most part, yeah, you're right. But I think it's because they're rewarding it to some of these places that have no business hosting it in the first place. They can't afford it. And they have to make it look like there's fans there.
Yeah.
Like, because a lot of times there just won't be people showing up for it. And, like, they have to edit it a certain way or only show certain camera angles because they don't want to show how shitty it really is.
Well, it's a lot of sports and it's long competition, so
Yeah.
I mean, somebody show up to every one, not to be unemployed.
Yeah, especially in these impoverished countries.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't break away from work to go watch a sport. That's a luxury.
Like, work? We wish we had work. Yeah. Any other weird sports? I know I have a couple of things I want to talk about. They have nothing to do with sports, but or weird sports.
Weird sports.
We're not doing the Dan Patrick show here, talking about basketball last night.
Yeah.
I just heard a couple things that one's recent news, kind of funny. There was a plane flying, I forget where they were flying from, it was somewhere over in Europe. A guy kept farting.
Yeah, I saw something about that.
And there's a couple of Dutch guys that were like, "Oh, okay, please stop." And I guess the guy kept on doing it. And I imagine it must have been really bad. Like, not like the fart, like ha ha, like fart, like what is wrong with this guy? Like what's in him? But, and I guess he kept doing it. I guess like after they kept telling him not to, a fight broke out. They had to like land somewhere else and get the guy off the plane.
For farting. Well, like
because he
for
wouldn't stop
enticing
farting, and
a
then
fight.
it enticed a fight, I guess. That's crazy. I know, like, I fart on a plane, but I don't, like, do it where somebody's going to know where it's coming from. Yeah. Like, I try to, like, let it out slowly. I know people smell it. I mean, You don't act like you did it. That's ballsy. And just sit there and be like, hey, I'm going to fart on you guys as much as I want because you're in this plane. There's nothing you can do about it.
Screw you, Dutch guy.
You should smoke some pot before you got on the plane.
I'm going to fart on you. And and there's got to be something with altitude and the pressure that makes you fart more.
That sounded like fart there. What was that? Get out of here, Captain.
Damn it.
Not bad. Should eat beans for lunch.
Go somewhere else.
Oh, that'd be funny, though, if you wanted to just sit there and mess with people on a flight. Just load up with whatever makes you fart. And just...
That's probably what he did.
I don't know. Like, I would like to think it was unintentional, and that was just his day.
He might be nervous. I know, like, I get nervous flying. I haven't flown in a while, but I would always get nervous. Like, my stomach would just be knotted up all day.
Is that every flight you've been on?
Not every flight. I used to like flying, but the older I got, the more uneasy I was with it. And, yeah, my stomach would just all day. Until I got to where I was going and knew I didn't have to fly anymore, I just couldn't relax.
Kevin, do you have any particular things that come up every time you fly, or mostly?
Well, I've had pretty good experiences flying. Every once in a while, I get
An erection?
Yeah. Had to
You
hide
were
it.
in to do the Mile High Club.
Right.
Kevin!
No, somebody put their seat back. That's never been the issue, but every once in a while, I don't know what it is, you get in the wrong seating gear where you have a little bit less leg room, and they put their seat back, and next thing you know, it's real uncomfortable. But
Yeah, you're kind of like just stuck in there.
that hasn't happened to me often. I think certain seats have less leg room. But
Yeah, I know when you sit all the way in the back up against the bathrooms.
yeah,
I try to pick those, or at least
Did
I
you like
used
the
to.
smell?
Well, I was an idiot. I was like, no one's going to want to sit next to the bathroom. Those seats will be cheaper. Well, I now know that's not true. I'm just an idiot for, like, smelling shit during all my flights.
I go. I always fly Southwest, so it's like a.
Just one direction?
Well, I mean,
or the company?
you don't get assigned seats. It's you.
I'm always going to New Orleans. Every time I fly.
It just ends up no, but it's like you when you
From
check
New
in.
Orleans, I fly to Mexico.
You check in online. If you check in at a certain time, or if you pay a little bit extra fee, you get higher up in where you go in the line, and you just sit wherever you want to, and you get in there.
Because it's general admission
Right,
seating.
it's general admission, right? All over the plane.
I always like having the aisle seat.
Yeah.
I used to like the window seat, but what would happen after a flight, when I have the window seat, all I would do is just sit there and look out the window. By the time I get to where I'm going, my neck's bothering me because I've just been looking out the window like that the whole time.
I just fly whatever's cheapest, and I don't know if this is factual, but I feel like I'm more creative. I want to read more, I want to write more, I draw.
Well, you have nothing else to do.
Yeah,
You're
what
stuck in
I
a
would
seat.
consider my best stuff is like airport travel, like drawing wise and stuff.
That's why you can watch, let's say you can watch a movie that's rated 5 out of 10. You can watch it at home, it sucks. You're stuck on an airplane. That movie's automatically going to be better. It's going to turn
That's
into
true.
like a 7. Because you have no other choice. I kind of have to watch this movie, and I have to kind of pay attention to it. Unless you go to sleep. I can't sleep on a plane for shit, but...
And here's my tip to anybody flying. If you just have like a regular Joe seat, put your carry-on bag in first class. Their overhead bins are always empty. Those like rich people, they
I
check
don't
their
trust
stuff.
rich people with stuff.
I've trusted rich people with my stuff every time, and I make sure to fart on my backpack so no one wants to grab it.
Smart.
Nice.
But that way, even if you're the first one off the plane or the last one off the plane, you walk to the front and you can see the opening, and your bag's right there in first class. Somebody's already opened the container. You usually have the last backpack left in there. It's very convenient.
Never thought about that, but like I said, most of the time I'm flying Southwest, I don't have first class.
Yeah.
It's just all
They're equal opportunity.
Equal
flyers.
opportunity.
I like Southwest.
I don't believe in
They're laid
classes.
back.
That's why I support that airline because they don't class.
That's nice. I'm total opposite of that. I've only flown with Virgin Airlines once, but it was amazing. It was from, I want to say, San Francisco to Los Angeles. So it was a very short flight. And all of the seats were like lazy boy recliners with a TV screen in front of you. That might be commonplace now, but it wasn't when I was flying there. And there was 4 flight attendants, all of them smoking hot. It was like you had to be a certain amount of attractive to get hired as a flight attendant for Virgin Airlines. These weren't your average dudes
Richard
walking
Branson,
off.
right?
Yeah, Richard Branson.
Yeah, I've never really had hot flight attendants. Like, yeah, a couple of cute ones, but like movies and stuff always portray it. So, oh yeah, hot flight. You're a flight attendant. Huh? It's always gonna be hot. Nah, they're just average, normal women. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah,
Make sure.
nothing to write home about.
So the only other encounter I've had with Virgin Airline stewardess, can I say that? Flight attendants. I was working at a skydiving place in California, and these 2 flight attendants had a layover. Well, they came to the drop zone where people skydive. There's a pool right there in front of a restaurant, and then you have a landing area past that. And there were a few night jumps. It was like a military training deal. But these 2 flight attendant chicks just wanted to go skinny dipping. So everybody at the restaurant got like a free show that night.
This is where you cue the dreamy music behind.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
When you, yeah.
They were hideous, by the way.
Yes, go on.
Yeah, that's all I really have to say. It didn't.
You
The
didn't
story
watch them
didn't
swim?
get. Not really. I was like, I like food, man. I was eating, and it was dark. You couldn't really see anything. You know, like if you want to just go watch porn, you could do that. But like this was like more about the idea that they felt so free. Just like they're basically still on their job. Like they're still working. They're just on a stopover, and they're like, well, we're gonna do what we want. And that was
I'm
really.
just going to eat my food.
As I watched them, like in their shadow. I would have felt creepy if I was the only one, but there was like 15 people on the patio eating their food. Some people were on dates, some married couples. It was just like background music.
Did you turn your plate and face the direction, or did you just
Well,
Yeah,
I was
like
all-
it was like stage
casually
entertainment,
look?
like it's
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah, like a dinner theater where you face the stage.
Believe it or not, I was already facing that way because,
okay.
like I said, the landing area was just past there. So
And were
you
there
have
tablecloths on the table?
Yeah.
no.
Okay.
That's not. Take some of the fun away.
Well,
Yeah, I wish that story was better, but
Well,
it's honest.
yeah, that's good. We don't need to.
so the only other thing today that I listened to was an old broadcast of Howard Stern. They were talking about Johnny Depp, how he was suing his finance company because he was running out of money and blown through all his money.
So, how much money did Johnny Depp have? Because I don't know.
I don't know what his net worth is. I mean, you probably look it up. But they were talking about things of like how he would spend his money, why he was blowing through his money. And this guy, you've got to think of all the movies he's done. He's in the what's the Disney franchise, the Pirates of the Caribbean. You get mad money for that, tons of money. So one of his expenditures was $30,000 a month on wine.
Yeah, I remember hearing that one. That's what I was going to talk
A
about.
month?
Yeah.
A month on
Okay,
wine.
so
And
like
he's probably buying some really good wine.
let's say $100 bottle. Like, what's that break down to a day? Like, Well,
A bottle a day, I guess, roughly.
it's a bottle a day.
30,000, right?
Okay, yeah.
No,
yeah. So the
no.
30 days,
No,
$100
30 days
a
would
day.
be 3,000. Never mind.
Yeah, 3,000. So there's
So yeah,
$3,000 worth. We're talking about 30,000.
$30,000.
And I'm sure he likes to party.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob, keep the wine flowing. But that's
Yeah,
on
he
average,
wouldn't
probably.
necessarily-
Because that
Probably
ain't-
spends more than that in a month on wine.
I'm not even upset at the fact that he's doing that. I'm upset that I'm not
Doing it?
the bartender
Oh.
or like the person he's tipping.
Well, and I'm sure that's, some of it's in restaurants, and I'm sure he probably buys a lot to add to his collections. He's got multiple homes. He's got, I think he's got a French-American dual citizenship, maybe?
Yeah, he's
So he's got a place in France, place in England, place here. But he spent $3 million to shoot Hunter S. Thompson's ashes out of a canyon on Hunter S. Thompson's property. I guess he wanted his ashes scattered that way, so he
From Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, like Johnny Depp
Johnny
played
Depp.
that role.
Yeah,
So
I guess they became
had that
close.
ties, yeah.
And,
Because I know him and Ralph Steadman were also...
is that Oprah's boyfriend?
the guy who
Stedman?
wrote it.
No.
The guy who wrote it.
Ralph Steadman is the... he paints. So him and Hunter S. Thompson were good friends. So Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, if I'm not mistaken, is about them two.
Well, the other character in that was his lawyer. So I don't know. If that's true.
Okay. So Ralph Steadman is a painter. Yeah, he makes like a painting a day. His like productivity level is insane, and they're all like
He did the pictures for the book.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I saw his name.
If you ever drank the beer Flying Dog, he did all the artwork for them.
All right, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
It looks
Yeah.
like it.
It's some really out there stuff. He's one of my favorite artists. The girlfriend that was checking on me to make sure I wasn't dying, that was her favorite artist, and that's how I was introduced to Ralph Steadman.
Huh.
It all
neat.
comes around.
Well, that's right.
So, do you think that Johnny Depp is happy? Like money aside, like money problems, suing, whatever. Kevin, what do you think? Do you think Johnny Depp is a happy guy?
I don't know. Seems like he'd be, probably not. If he spend that much money. You know? Seems like the happier dudes, the ones that don't spend the money. Seems like he's chasing something, you know? But I don't know.
Well, maybe he's just living it.
Maybe he's just enjoying it, yeah. Or,
It's one trip, you know.
but a lot of these folks, you know, like the TV show Entourage,
Yeah.
get a pack of guys who basically live off of you because they assume you got plenty of money.
Well, he lost a lot of money in that divorce too.
Yeah, that's true.
He was married to that Amber Heard chick. She's a model.
Who's
They
Johnny
got
Depp?
divorced. Well, she ended up dating your boyfriend Elon Musk for a little bit.
It's not my boyfriend.
Well, wannabe boyfriend Elon Musk. If you ever get to hear this, if you ever want to go the gay way, Adam will probably do it with you.
No,
He will take your Falcon Heavy. Just the tip, though. Don't get
just the
crazy.
payload. Just the payload.
Here's the payload on your face.
No, Elon, if you do hear this, just adopt me. Yeah, none of that other stuff is necessary.
Okay. That sounds great. We can go on about an hour, so if y'all guys want to wrap it up, or you want to go another 30 minutes or whatever you
We
think.
could wrap it up. You got anything you need to get off your chest before we do?
Nothing. I was thinking maybe we could suggest stuff.
Oh.
100.
So is the website up and running?
Yeah.
Like people can contact us?
Yes. Well, I should have the podcast up there within, I'd say within 24 hours. Well, by the time you hear this, it'll already be up.
In the
one and
future.
two.
In the future.
First one and this one.
Yeah, these two should be up.
Yeah, it might be like Trailer Park Boys. You might want to skip through a lot of the first one. I don't know
Yeah.
if this one's better or not, but we're still working out glitches and figuring things out.
Yeah.
The first one's a lot of, talking about how we're going to do it. And,
Yeah. And
figuring out, and the sound quality's not
we
the
learned
best.
not to go slamming up the steps and throwing our drinks down.
Keep putting our drinks down and make a doomp
Yeah.
every time. Doomp, doomp.
Wow.
And we don't bang on the table anymore.
Realize, hey,
I think I did that last podcast.
do like your
Somebody's
mom
playing
always
the
said,
table.
use a fucking coaster.
Yeah.
We're using coasters. We're evolving.
Yeah.
So I personally want any feedback on what we can do. If you ask me to change my voice, there's just going to be a big middle finger to you because I can't do that. But any other like technical stuff, or if there's something you want us to cover as a topic,
Just like they were on your baseball team.
Yep, that's what I was referencing.
Oh God, I still can't believe you just flick off your own team.
I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah.
How old were you now?
18.
Well, thought, okay. It's just verifying the facts of the fact. I want to stay factual.
No, I was a kid, and my mom actually hopped the fence and got me out of center field or left field or wherever I was at. And,
Beat your ass.
Pretty much, yeah. I was young enough to where I don't remember it. Like, I just remember the stories that my parents tell me afterwards. It was like, this is the trouble you caused us.
Yeah, I guess if anybody's got any feedback for us and any suggestions, like I said, we want to get Adam involved in some things that not are bad for him, but make him a little uncomfortable. We want to go broadcast from the fish show one day. And
Yeah, we're
Adam
going to do
with
that,
us.
definitely.
We'll just broadcast from the parking lot, and we'll throw him into that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Still have some people come on as guests and interview them. We've talked to a few people, so they're willing to come on. We'll talk to them about what they do, and we can explore that and make fun of them a little bit, make fun of ourselves.
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, until I guess next time. It's been fun talking to you guys.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, so we're talking about gross national happiness as maybe our next topic.
Okay.
Gross national happiness.
We'll look it up and Wikipedia and whatever you
America lacks in. I don't think we're one of the happiest countries in the world.
Yeah, because everything's by GDP, which is not a good indicator of how the general population is doing.
Yeah, like Johnny Depp's got a lot of money, or did.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's happy?
Well, he's not in America.
His gross national happiness is not that good then.
So I'm maybe over-promising, but we're going to calculate Johnny Depp's gross national happiness on the next podcast.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, I'm Adam.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Kevin.
And I guess we're going to all say bye.
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 That concludes our broadcast. Is anybody in here? Podcast 2. Recorded February 19th, 2018. Don't forget to visit our webpage at www.zanybodyinhere.com and our Facebook page at Zanybody In Here Podcast. That's ZENYBODY in here.